Welcome to the documentary from the BBC World Service, where we report the world, however difficult the issue, however hard to reach. Podcasts from the BBC World Service are supported by advertising.
Today's €2.90 wrap of the day is the sweet chili chicken one, guaranteed to cause flavour envy. Picture a soft tortilla wrap filled with...
crispy chicken. Bet that mayo makes it tasty, yeah?
Sweet chili sauce too. I'm sold.
Today's €2.90 sweet chili chicken one. So big on flavour, everyone will want some. Only at McDonald's. From 11 a.m.
Planning a summer break? Experience the best of Ireland, inside and out at Clayton Hotels. With nationwide destinations, you can soak up amazing coastline views. Then soak in the atmosphere in our welcoming bars and spacious lounges. Squeeze in local attractions, then stretch out in our big family rooms. Enjoy endless adventures, followed by meals made to thrill.
Delicious.
And heavenly moments alongside real luxury. For the best rates, always book on ClaytonHotels.com.
A bomb whose creation would tip the scales of global power. A nuclear physicist who sought to redress the balance. The Bomb, a podcast from the BBC World Service. Season 2 available now.
This programme contains descriptions of a killing involving weapons. Wake up from your patriarchal slumber is the essential message of this song, delivered to all Bengali women. It's a chorus which references the feminist poet Begum Ruqya, whose writings and activist spirit from the early 1900s are still being kept alive today by these women in the villages of southwest Bangladesh. I'm Faarea Masud, and for this week's documentary on the BBC World Service, I've been spending time with women here who've shown collective strength in pursuit of their rights and courage. Carrying only bamboo sticks, wearing cotton saris, and with little formal education, the women farmers fight against a powerful economic force. That's the multi-billion-dollar global industry for tiger prawns and shrimps. Shrimp farming in this region is currently the second largest foreign currency earning sector after clothing, and it's worth up to about $500 million in export for the Bangladeshi economy, and you can see it everywhere all around us here. Rectangles and squares of water enclosed by mud and grassy banks which stretch way back into the distance. According to a 2020 study, land covered by shrimp farms in this surrounding coastal district almost doubled in terms of percentage land area between 1990 and 2016. So it grew from 22 to 38% in one sub-district, but actually it's thought to cover the majority of land in this whole region. Of course, this expansion of shrimp farming has not been without cost.
I was fine before, but I've been having menstrual problems for a while now. I now have a period twice a month, and each one lasts 3 days. We are so busy with work that we don't have time to visit the doctor.
Bolshamoti Sena has been working on the shrimp farms around here for about a decade. Her working day runs from 8 in the morning until 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And at certain times of the shrimp's 3-month growth cycle, she has to stand waist high in salt water, saline water that also contains chemical fertilizers.
We women workers have various uterus problems due to the salt water. We also suffer from itching disease. And for all this, we earn only 200 Bangladeshi taka a day.
That's just over $2 a day, and 4,000 taka, almost $50 a month, which is well below the minimum wage, which for the country's urban garment industry is double that. The menstrual problems Boshamoti describes are corroborated by other women we spoke to, and the incidences of scabies in shrimp farmers has been documented by studies looking at the world's other major shrimp producer, Vietnam. According to the World Bank, women are thought to hold about 1.4 million of an estimated 17.8 million jobs in Bangladesh's total aquaculture production industry. The extra income that this has provided families has not only increased incomes, but it's contributed to better infrastructure, literacy rates and empowerment of women earners. And while there are success stories, wealth and power has not spread equally to all.
Most of the people from our village work in shrimp enclosures, and most people face these health issues. Only a few of the wealthier ones don't work here.
We meet Bullu Roy on an average day as she's tending to her household. She's a 42-year-old woman and tells us she was married at 16 years old and that she's been working on the shrimp farms pretty much since then. She, like Boshamoti, complains of sores caused by itching and uterus problems.
My periods became irregular and extremely heavy. I was bleeding so much, so I went to a doctor, and after some tests, she told me that I had a tumor in my uterus.
I have no children.
Buluroy was advised to undertake a hysterectomy, which she did. As she said, she has no children.
7 days, 8 days, bleeding.
I'm Khushi Kabir, and I'm the coordinator of Nijarakuri. Nijarakuri is a non-governmental organization that's working in rural areas of Bangladesh, working with organizing the more marginalized and excluded.
Khushi Kabir and the Nijarakuri NGO have worked here with local communities for many decades, and in that time have brought international attention to these kinds of issues, to the point where it's been said, repeated and retold so many times that it might sound familiar to you. And yet Khushi Kabir must say it again, that women are still suffering.
Unfortunately, in the rural areas, women's health is only based on reproductive rights. And very often, because if it's to do with your vagina, your uterus, etc., you don't talk about it. And a lot of women suffer a lot because they are made to do all the worst kind of work.
Men aren't willing to work in salt water because they are afraid of these diseases. So women must go out there and do it.
Shrimp worker Bullu Roy says women are being disadvantaged, not just in the work they must do, but that they're paid less than men, on top of shouldering household responsibilities. Furthermore, they face risks of sexual harassment.
Many women are sexually harassed by the enclosure owners. They ask women workers to go cook at their houses, and when they get there, they sexually assault them.
Sexual assault against women workers is very natural because, it's a question of a power play. It's a very patriarchal society, and if you want to control, you attack the women.
The power dynamic between men and women, rich and poor, is also played out in the grab for land. As shrimp farming became profitable, people began to see the potential of khas lands. That's public land, which poorer people have been using for subsistence farming. So more powerful groups and individuals came to take them over. Because the poor families had little access or knowledge of their legal rights, they were forced off and in some cases made to work on the shrimp farms, which were set up in the same spot. Bullu Roy explains.
The wealthy shrimp farm owners force poor landowners to lease their land to them, so the poor can't afford to set up their own shrimp farms. They have no choice but to hand over their land to the wealthy shrimp owners. The owners earn a lot of money from their shrimp businesses, but they never help any of the workers who get sick from working in the salt water. They should help us, but they only care about their profits, not about us.
Both Bullu Roy and Boshamoti Sena are not the kind of women who've just been sitting back and allowing all of this to happen around them. A movement to empower poor women has been in operation since the late 80s and early 90s, with the help of non-governmental organisations like Nijara Kori, trying to organise and educate, working on campaigns and legal cases, all to encourage women like Bullu Roy to envision a different life for themselves and their daughters. And, as they've come to realise, the only way to bring about change is to do it themselves.
Before, women felt frightened and ashamed to talk about sexual harassment. But now they are more outspoken and protest vehemently if they experience anything like this. Many women take legal action, and so the situation is changing.
আবার অনেকে আছে যে 150 টাকা করে দেয় কিন্তু আমরা তা নিতে যাইনি যে আমরা 200 টাকা নিছি এক পয়সা কম
Some of the shrimp farm owners want to pay us 150 Bangladeshi taka a day, but we refuse. We say that we won't take anything less than 200. In some places the male workers tease the female workers, and so we boycott those places. We fight back. We may be workers, but we're also human beings. Why should we tolerate this in silence? Do we women not have any value? We must protest.
মহিলা আজ বলে আমাদের কি কোনো দাম নেই আমরা এর প্রতিবাদ করি
শান্ত হাই হাই দেখে নেব
A violent exchange is taking place. Two sides are shouting angrily, bearing deep frowns and gripping long sticks so tightly that their knuckles are white and their arm muscles are taut with tension. They strike, hitting at the men they are desperate to fend off.
Then, action!
It's a real moment in time that happened over a decade ago. It's being acted out here by villagers as part of a touring open-air play to remember a battle against land-grabbing shrimp business owners. It serves as a continuing reminder to those currently working in shrimp enclosures here that they also have the power, and that more than once, by exercising their collective voice, they have won.
It exploded in the 80s, mid-80s to late 80s. And we were working in the southwest coastal...
Another significant battle happened with the support of Nijara Kori, the NGO coordinated by Kushi Kabir. Nijara Kori in Bengali means we do it ourselves. They'd been helping mobilise workers on a dam project when a well-connected man, who was known for his use of brutal force, came to take over a piece of land which he wanted to flood with saline water for shrimps, but which at the time was being farmed in soil for vegetable crops and animals by hundreds of local villagers. The protest march against his attempt to take over the small area known as Polder 22 is not only seared in the memory of locals who lived through it, but has been passed into folklore to hold an almost legendary status in the minds of successive generations. Two women who were there that day take up the story, Rupban Bibi and Urmila Sardar, both aged over 60 now.
I am Rupban Bibi. They were determined to set up shrimp farms here. So they beat us up and evicted us by flooding the area with saline water.
My name is Urmila Sardar. At that time, we had a very beautiful life. There was no salt water in the area, so we had lots of trees growing among our houses. Mango, berries, all the summer fruit trees. The pond was full of fish, the cowshed full of cows. I used to rear chicken and ducks.
I was just sitting down to eat. I was sewing when someone called us to tell us to join the protest march. I rushed to join them, left my sewing, and didn't even change.
I told my mother-in-law that I was going out to join the procession with the other women. She forbade me to join. She was worried they would attack